Hey y'all, it's Kim from Kim Dixon Creative, and it's day 4 of my 7-day series on TLC Designs channel. So I'm coming in today with a tag. I'm going to go a little bit different. We're not going to make a card today. I'm going to make a tag. So I have printed off my little precious little penguin here from the Festive Friends Digital Stamp set from TLC Designs, and just going to color him up using my Nouveau alcohol markers. Now, I don't know any penguins. Looked one up on the internet to make sure I was kind of getting close. So if I'm not close and you do personally know a penguin, and I'm not coloring him correctly, please don't be offended. Just know that we don't have penguins in Alabama, and I tried the best I could. So I think he turned out pretty darn cute. But gave him some little yellowish orange feet, and I'm coming in with some gray, some very light gray right now, and just kind of coloring up the white areas that he would have, and giving some shadow and depth there. I have given my penguin some little pink cheeks because I'm pretty sure it's cold where penguins are, and I don't know about you, but my cheeks get pink when I'm cold, so he needed some little pink cheeks. And so just coloring him up a little bit and giving him some depth and dimension, and then I will go in with my darker grays to color him up to give him the illusion of being black. I don't like to use just absolute black unless I have to. To me, you get a better effect with the shadows and the dimension by using grays and darker grays. And so I go in, as I always do, with a lighter color, color everything in, come back in with my darkest color in the shadowed area, blend that out a little bit with my medium shade, and then I go back over that usually with my lighter color and blend everything together. I don't know if that's really the right way to do it. It's the way I do it. You know, and I like I say, I don't have Copics. I actually placed an order for my first trio of Copic markers. In my Nouveau markers, my pinks are getting very, very dry, so I ordered a trio of pink Copic markers that will work together to kind of replace those. And that's kind of my plan, is to as my Nouveaus run out, maybe to start replacing those trios with Copics. You know, I feel like it's something that I'm going to actually do. You know, if you can afford to go out and buy Copics from the very beginning, please, I mean, why not get the best? I wasn't sure that I would like coloring with alcohol markers, and I didn't want to spend that much money on them until I knew that it was something that I was going to like to do. And it was iffy at first. I didn't really like the results I was getting. Thought it was the markers, so I bought different markers, and that's how I ended up with the Nouveaus. Even with the Nouveaus, I wasn't really happy until I found Express It Blending Card. Once I found Express It Blending Card, then I'm a happy coloring camper. And so I think that, you know, as time marches on, I will begin replacing my Nouveaus as they run out with Copics. So at any rate, in the future, you may actually see me coloring with Copic markers, do I dare say. But until then, my Nouveaus are working fine. And so I'm not trying to win any awards with my coloring. I just want cute things on my cards, and as today on my tags. So I'm just coloring him up. You know, he takes a little while to color up, but he's easy to color because there's just not a lot of color. There's not a lot of different colors that you have to use. He's black and white with a little bit of yellowish orange on his feet. So, and it's a good thing that I did look up penguins on the internet, because I would have just given him a little orangish, yellowish beak as well, but the ones I saw, they had more black on their mouth. So, again, I don't know penguins, so, I did the best I could. So, anyway, I think he turned out really, really cute. I'm just going to get him finished coloring up and see how he goes. I hope you all are enjoying our series. I've really enjoyed preparing the videos for it. It's been difficult, a little bit difficult for me to get them all edited and up. I've started working on these, the first part of November, but we had Thanksgiving, we've had grandchildren in and out, getting ready for Christmas, and we have some of our family Christmas early in the month of December, so I have been woefully behind on getting these up. So I'm glad I'm finally finding a day that I can get these done and get them up so I can share them with you. Finally got my Christmas tree up this weekend. I think this is probably close to the latest I've ever been getting a Christmas tree up. I just, a hot mess this year. I'm excited for Christmas though, because we now have 2 grandchildren, and it's just going to be a lot of fun with them here. I'm going to fussy cut my little penguin out. I think I'm going to call him Percy. And going to cut him out here, just fussy cut him. He's very easy to cut out. I could have put him on the brother scan and cut, but sometimes it's just as easy and quick to grab a pair of scissors and start cutting. And when it's as easy of a sketch as this, why not? It's a little bit therapeutic to cut paper sometimes and to trim out. I remember when we were kids, I never would have thought, we colored things in our coloring books, and we would, cut them out of our coloring books. And, I remember thinking then, well, that's kind of silly to do that. I do it anyway, but here I am, I'm cutting them out of my coloring books. And, and I'm sure that my parents weren't happy with all of the pieces of paper everywhere in the house. But who knew I was practicing for my hobby from when I would become an adult? I was practicing fussy cutting when I didn't even know that it was called fussy cutting. About got him all trimmed up, getting up in there around his feet, getting him good and trimmed out. I'm not always the greatest at fussy cutting. I'm getting better. Learning to move the paper and not the scissors, and sometimes holding my scissors at an angle helps. Another thing that helps with your fussy cutting is to go back with a black marker after you've cut everything out, and that helps hide any imperfections that you have. If you cut too close, it will add that black outline back. If you didn't cut close enough, it colors up that white area that's left. The thing you need to remember when doing this though is come toward your project from the back. That way, if you slip with your marker, it slips typically toward the back of your project. So I have a scrap piece of chipboard here that I'm cutting down, and for some crazy reason I'm using my plastic ruler with my little craft knife there. I have a ruler that has a metal edge. I could actually draw this off with my T-ruler and then go back in, but who knows what I was thinking. But I'm going to get all that trimmed off, and I love using scrap chipboard for my tags. I like the weight that it gives them, And so I don't even remember what my dimensions are. I just, cut what I had to a decent size for my tag. I'm going to just lay it down here and give myself some little corners. And I don't know why I didn't think about it, but I have marking the center right now so I'll know where to put my hole. I have one of the We Are Memory Keepers punches that cuts the angle. I didn't even think to use that thing. Instead, I sit here and I will end up drawing off my little rectangles, or not rectangles, triangles. But it worked out fine. I drew the first one on, cut it off, and then the piece that I cut off, I moved it to the other side and drew out my other side, so that my corners would somewhat match. If I would have used my punch, my corners would have matched, and I would have been done with this portion of the video and moving on. But I didn't. And when I'm cutting chipboard with a craft knife, always remember more passes, less pressure. You are less likely to cut yourself and more likely to get a good clean cut doing that. Okay, and as you can see, I have a piece of digital paper from the Peppermint Paper Pack, and I've just traced out my tag on top of it. And I'm going to adhere that to the front of my chipboard. I'm just trimming it up with some really long shears, and I'm going to get that adhered to my chipboard. I'm using liquid glue, as I always do. Just going to get that put on there, and then I can go back with my craft knife and trim off the edges. You want to get it cut as close as you can, but you don't have to get it perfect, because then you're going to go back in with your craft knife and shave that off. And using chipboard, it's good and thick, so it's like having a ruler there. It's very easy to do. I remembered that I had this finger blade, and it's much sharper, it's newer, and it's a little easier for me to handle. It is, for me, a little bit safer, I think. So, and I can get up in there a little bit closer. Now I'm going to take my crocodile and poke my hole there in the top. Going to get my penguin glued down on there. And as usual, I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants. I'm not really sure what I'm going to end up doing. But I decided to pop him up with some foam tape. Again, not a project of mine if I don't use some foam tape somewhere. So I'm going to put some foam tape on him and put him to the left side of my my tag. Cutting all the little pieces to make sure that he is good and even on my tag, because I would love for this tag to end up being something that travels throughout my family from year to year. So I think he turned out pretty cute. Getting all of my release paper pulled off. And he is now adhered to the front of my tag. Now, he needs something, so I decided I want him to hold a banner that says Warm Wishes. And so I just went on to Word and printed out the words Warm Wishes. in a pretty font, and when that printed out, I cut it out into a little banner shape, and I took a toothpick and cut the pointed ends of the toothpick off with my scissors. And then I'm going to glue the toothpick up in there as if it's the bar on, you've seen banners that are on a wooden pole, as if it's going to be the little wooden pole that my banner is hanging on. Once I get that adhered down, I'm going to find some twine. I have some neutral colored twine that I can use, and make my little handle for my banner. Just going to tie it into a knot on each end. I'll end up taking some art glitter glue and some of the liquid glue and securing that on the ends just to make sure that it doesn't move. And the way I have that popped up, that fits perfectly behind there. So I'm just going to put a little drop of my liquid glue down in there and take my sign, my little string, and drop it down behind his little hand. Use my craft pick to poke it down there like I want it. And so now he is holding that little banner that says warm wishes. And I put another little drop of glue just to make sure. But otherwise, on that tag, that little banner is free. Now I have some beads and some twine that I put the twine through the hole, and I'm going to just string some of these natural colored beads onto the top. That little tool I'm using is called a bead threader. It's quite handy for this as well as many other things in your craft room. I'm using my purple tape up there to kind of hold some beads in there so they don't roll everywhere. Once I get these beads on here, I'm just going to tie it in a knot at the top and secure those on. I used a large, 2 mediums, and then another large bead, I think is what I put on there. I've enjoyed using these beads in a lot of my tags this time. Yeah, I decided to take that big one off. I didn't like the big one at the top. That's what I was thinking I did. So I had a big one at the bottom and then 2 medium beads there. And I'm just tying everything into a knot to keep the beads from sliding off. Then I will tie the jute at the top into a knot so that it has a loop, so that I can hang it on a package or do whatever I want to do. Now what I would end up doing is taking a white pen and marking on the back the to and the from. Thank you so much again for stopping by today. I hope you enjoyed our little Festive Friends tag. The link for all of the products are in the links are in the description box below for all of the TLC products. The links to my social media and my YouTube channel are down below as well. I'd love it if you're not a subscriber, if you came on over and subscribe to my channel as well. I post here on TLC Designs. I post on Instagram some of the products and the projects that I make for TLC Designs. And I would love for you to join me so that you can see all the things that I'm doing as well. I love using the TLC Designs products. I'm thankful that they let me and let me do the videos for you guys. Today was day 4, so that means we have 3 days left. I'll be back tomorrow with another project, and I hope you join me. Until then, bye.